8:11 on this Tuesday morning. Time to talk some politics and money with a man who knows both very well. He's OMNI TV political analyst Kim Emerson joining us live from Victoria. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are all looking forward to the BC budget being tabled, I guess the right word is, at 1:30 this afternoon. Finance Minister Mike de Jong expected it to be a third straight balanced budget. What can we expect overall, Kim?
Well, what you're going to see is a larger surplus than what they had anticipated before. They were talking about $444 million before, but we found out after the second quarterly report that things were going a little better than they had anticipated. One of the main reasons for that is because people were spending more money, and in other words, paying more taxes. Taxation revenue was up substantially higher than what the finance ministry had anticipated. People spending more money, that means more tax revenue in the coffers. That means the government can now go ahead and do a few things that it has said it wanted to do for a while but couldn't because the fiscal house wasn't where they needed it to be. One of those big things, the government has taken a beating on this whole situation about single parents having their family support payments clawed back from them to the tune of about $17 million. And the government really has been beaten up by the NDP over this. One of the key issues that the NDP has managed to get some traction on, the government's going to do something about that today. And the upside of that for the government is that the new social services minister, Michelle Stilwell, who took over from Don McCrae, probably going to be the happiest minister in the place today other than Mike de Jong.
Well, with the number of $444 million in surplus, $17 million doesn't sound like that big of a piece of that pie.
It's not, but you see, no, it's not. But you see, the problem you've got is if you look at healthcare, for instance, $17 million in healthcare would disappear in the blink of an eye.
Right.
Healthcare takes up a massive portion of the budget. So if there's anything goes sideways anywhere, that $444 million could disappear pretty quickly. So they do have to be careful how they spend and where they spend. But we're going to see more than 444. We're probably going to see something in the name of maybe 650 or more in the way of surplus. So that gives the government some room to do some extra things. They're also going to do some nice things for their corporate friends. Some of the highest income earners are going to get a bit of a break. Some corporations are going to get a bit of a break. But that's not a surprise. This is the Liberal government. It's not as if it's the NDP and they're giving corporations a break. Right.
You were talking about or alluding to the fact that there are some goodies for some, but there's been a hint that there will be no movement on the minimum wage, nor will there be movement on much outside of healthcare.
Yeah, there's going to be more healthcare spending. There always is. Even if you constrain healthcare, there's always going to be more spending there. And as far as goodies go, I mean, you'll see some stuff for low-income people, but there's not a ton to be given out. And one of the reasons is they're not doing anything to increase taxes overall at this point. And one of the reasons for that, they don't need to, because MSP premiums are going up again. BC Hydro rates are going up again and will continue to go up for the next several years. So when you do the math and you realize that there's 4 million people in the province and you start tossing in increases that are compounding each year, you can see pretty quickly where that extra money's coming from.
So that $68 monthly MSP payment, what might we expect that to increase to?
Well, you're probably likely to see that go up by at least another 4 or 5% at minimum, and that will depend on whether it's a single person or it's a family. But that will continue to go up. The government is prepared to look at an alternative, and for instance, Andrew Weaver of the Green Party gave them an alternative. He said, tie it to people's incomes, tie it to their property taxes, find another way to deal with it rather than simply jacking it up on everyone all the time.
Right. That makes a great deal of sense to so many. 1:30 this afternoon is when it all goes down, yes?
It'll be a little bit after that. They do introductions and things. It'll be about 10 to 2 by the time he starts to speak, and then all reporters will be released from the lockup. We're locked up until then because we can't tell anybody anything specific in case somebody profited off of the stock market on what changes there might be.
Fascinating stuff. Kim, we appreciate you popping by as always. OMNI TV's Kim Emerson, political analyst here on BT. We'll see you soon.
Okay.